Hi, I'm Brent Madden.
And I'm Britt Madden.
And this is Madriv. 5 days, 20 classic cars, 900 kilometers.
Actually, it was like just over 1,000.
Okay, over 1,000 kilometers through the Cape, from Cape Town, through Wellington, across the majestic Bainskloof Pass, through Worcester and Robertson, to Montagu, then Barrydale, Oudtshoorn, Swellendam, Strasby, Cape Gullis, Ilum, Gansbaai, Hermanus, and finally back home.
Yeah, this was not just an ordinary road trip. That's why it was called the Cape Meander. It was a true adventure as we drove around infinite mountain passes along the coastlines. We tried to stop at just about every pod stall we could and have stories for every single one of them. And I think we also hit just about every single petrol station.
Yes.
Because Little Red, our classic 1969 Peugeot, only has a 20 liter fuel tank. So we made lots of stops, met lots of amazing people, and have lots of stories to tell. And we could not have done it without our Continental Tyres. We want to say a huge thank you to the team at Continental. You truly made this adventure, this whole journey possible. We couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
Thanks, guys. In Oudtshoorn, baby. So we kicked off the tour from Grootpasantkraal in Durbanville and headed to Montagu. And what a drive to start it all. So we rolled to the beauty of Bainskloof Pass. So it's the beginning. It's the beginning of our Meander tour, our historic Meander tour with all classics,
Except for the bucky.
except for this bucket. And we're now heading towards our destination, and this is where we find ourselves. How awesome is that?
Beautiful.
And then through what is known as South Africa's wine country, the beautiful Robertson.
Yes.
So fun fact, Robertson is known for milking grapes. So they're really known for their wines. They have the best wine farms probably in South Africa, hands down. So we rolled into Montagu, and that's where our first challenge started.
What was the first challenge?
Your big blue suitcase.
That was the first challenge? My big blue. I did have a really big blue suitcase. I did.
I need you to explain how a 4-day road trip required a big bag that felt like all 3 of our kids were packed inside of it. So the last time it was crabs. This time she decided to bring a bag, a luggage bag along. It doesn't wheel. Who? Check this. It doesn't wheel. You won't push. It doesn't want to go. What are those wheels? My wife just brought the unwheeliest bag along on this trip. I'm dragging this bag in. Just dropped my laptop bag. Here we go. And check that view.
Let me get someone that will be able to assist.
Eventually I got help. What's your name? Devin. Devin came to save me. Thanks, Devin.
Okay, no excuses, just reasons. Okay. My dad taught me that a good Boy Scout is always prepared. So I have this tendency, some might call it a toxic trait, to overpack.
Yeah.
But do I ever forget anything? Not usually. Not usually. I generally have enough things to clothe, outfit a whole army. So that is part of the reason. The other part is I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, we thought we were leaving on the Monday, and both of us, and then 24 hours prior realized, no, we were leaving on Sunday. So, and we had a jam-packed weekend leading up to, and so we were shoving stuff in suitcases, clean laundry, some questionable laundry, but it all got packed, and so that is why. And because my husband is chivalrous, he did not let me bear my own burden. He carried my suitcase for me. And that's why he looks so buff now, hey? So thank you, honey. Thank you. Sorry. My bad.
Morning. So it's day 2 of the Meander tour. We in Montagu, and we on our way to Barrydale, and then we're heading off to Oudtshoorn to Buffelsdrift to go and check out like we're feeding elephants or doing a game drive or something. Let's see how today goes. Peace.
Excuse me, wat voor model is dit?
Dis 'n 204.
204. Ja, maar wat voor jaarmodel?
Oh, jaar. Hy's 'n 1969.
19, ek is nog ouer as hy, way. 1969, ek is 1957.
So the next morning.
Yes, day 2.
Day 2. So the next morning, day 2, we left Montagu en route to Oudtshoorn.
Yes, and we had to make one of what would be a million petrol stops. So we pull into this little petrol station in Barrydale, and this very sweet auntie, who was a petrol attendant, basically says to my husband in Afrikaans, and ek kan klein bietjie Afrikaans verstaan, says to him, basically, okay, get out of the way. I'm gonna get in your car now. You go ahead and get in with your wife. I'm gonna take it from here, right?
Yeah. So the same stop, I asked the lady to fill or to top up Little Red, because on old cars like this, it's really hard to tell. Can't really tell on the gauge at all. And she finishes 9 Rand, which is 1 liter of fuel.
That's less than $1 of fuel that she put in the car.
So I was surprised. I really was. Well done, Little Red. I'm not sure if we can park here. I think it's for motorbikes. There's a motorbike sign over there. I think I'm gonna go with this espresso.
Cool. Diesel beef.
So eventually we arrive in Oudtshoorn, which I feel was out of all the stops we had was the most magical, right?
Yeah.
So we got to do a game drive. Just a short break. We got to do something really special.
Yeah, we had what I would say is one of my like top 10 most incredible life experiences. So at this game lodge, they have 3 rescued elephants, 2 male and 1 female. And they allow you to have this experience with them where not only did we get to feed them, but we got to interact with them like tangibly. So we got to touch them, and I think the most special part was they actually give you hugs. And it makes me teary-eyed thinking about it, because it was just, it was such a humbling experience, because these animals that are so powerful and so intelligent and could literally take you out in a moment were so incredibly gentle. And I don't know what I thought an elephant felt like, but it's actually indescribable to feel their trunks wrapped around you, and you can literally feel it breathing on you. But I think what was so spectacular is the caretakers. 3 men who they say it's not their job. They literally call it parenting, because they've known these elephants since they were rescued as young, as babies. And now I think the one carer has been with them almost 20 years. So they know them like their own children, their family, and they're with them day and night, and they just have this beautiful respect, mutual respect between them. And so it was a privilege to get to be in the space of the elephants. I didn't want to leave, honestly. I just wanted to stay there, because it was just miraculous.
We could have just stayed there. For those 4 days.
I think it made us miss our kids, though, because there were 3 elephants. We have 3 kids, so we renamed them, because of course they had names. But we renamed them in honor of our kids, Tristan, Riley, and Kobe.
That's my favorite.
But it was really special. We've had the opportunity to stay at quite a few game lodges and go on a number of safaris. But this place was really exceptional. First of all, the customer service was world class. The food was phenomenal. But the accommodation was really special. They call their rooms tents, and they are tented, but I mean, this is like luxury. You can't even say glamping, because it's, I mean, heated, really comfortable beds, beautiful furniture, outdoor shower if you want to shower in the outdoor.
If you're feeling adventurous.
Each tent has its own shower. But then you also have like a bathtub and just beautiful amenities. Like, it was really lovely. And staff coming to check in on you. And some of the tents are right along a dam that they have where hippos live. And then of course you can go on the game drive
which we didn't see. We never saw the hippos.
We didn't get to see them. Sometimes they're, it's the hard thing about staying in a place like that for only one night. You may not, but we did see a lot of things.
But it's a good excuse to go back. Buffelsdrift, we're coming.
We did see a lot of things on our game drive, which was cool.
Buffelsdrift. Hey. Okay, so the next morning we packed. Really sad to say goodbye to Buffelsdrift, but we needed to head off to our next destination. So we drove from Oudtshoorn to Swellendam, which I feel was the toughest leg of this tour.
Why do you say so?
Well, because the wind and rain played around like crazy with Little Red, but she handled she handled it like a boss. Could you see it? You see the wind?
I would say
the tail?
you handled it like a boss. I don't think she handled it like a boss. I think you did really well.
Boss.
All things considered.
Yeah.
It was challenging. And I think by that point we were starting to feel pretty tired too.
Yeah.
Like you're just naturally tired. So having to pay attention with difficult natural elements against you.
So the next morning we left Swellendam and headed towards Hermanus.
Yeah.
We drove through a town called Breathtaking and headed through to Stressby, right? And that's when the wind really showed up.
Yeah.
The boot flew open mid-drive.
Okay, for our American friends, what's the boot?
The trunk.
The trunk.
The trunk flew open mid-drive.
Yes.
I felt this gust of wind behind me.
Yeah.
And you saw it, right?
I did.
Yeah?
I did, and I might have panicked a little bit.
So did you get any footage of this happening?
He's like
You were driving
devastated.
behind me, right?
He's like devastated. I didn't get footage of the boot flying open,
The trunk.
the trunk, because he had a lot of junk in his trunk, including camera gear that my concern is all this stuff flying out. So I'm hooting, honking the horn, and flashing my lights, which is what he told me to do if anything went awry or I need to just stop or pull over.
Yeah.
Because part of my responsibility on this drive was I was driving a Bucky, which again for our American audience is a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And I was meant to, hopefully there are no law enforcement listening to this, meant to film him while I'm driving. So to capture footage, much of which you will see on this video. And so no, I was not filming when your boot flew open. I was concerned for your safety and the well-being of our very expensive gear.
I'm so sorry, people. So we do not have any footage.
We could reenact it if you want.
Let's grab some breakfast. Okay, so coming back en route to Stressby, that breakfast spot, we didn't choose it for the food, right?
No.
What made you radio me, stop, turn around, this is the spot?
So I'm not even a big breakfast person. So for me to say, let's stop for breakfast, you know there's some like ulterior motive. And it probably 9 times out of 10, it has to do with an animal of some sort. And in this case, it was a few donkeys.
Tell us how you really feel. Wow.
Yeah.
Come here, buddy.
Who stole donkey's food?
We pulled over because of the donkeys, and there were also a few miniature horses, and had breakfast. And what was really special is inside they had this beautiful shop with tons of local artists' work featured and all locally made products for sale. And then you could buy food for the donkeys too. Yeah.
Which we did.
Yeah, we did.
We got to feed them.
Yeah. Took some coaxing. They were like on the other side of this field after we came out. But eventually they came and we got to feed them.
Give you some. Okay, so breakfast done, donkeys fed. We then headed off to the harbour to go and greet one of the locals in the harbour.
Yeah.
Stingrays. So it's been my bucket list shot to get my car to the harbour. We live about 250 kilometers from where this is.
Yeah.
And they were a no-show. Basically because the weather conditions were horrible. It was raining, it was windy. And normally they'd come out to come and greet because of the boats that would come in after fishing for a couple of days. There obviously weren't any boats because the weather conditions were horrible. So yeah.
Unfortunately, didn't get to see any stingrays.
Nah, in the words of Arnold, we'll be back. So we carried on to Cape Agulhas, which is where it's a little town. It's the most southernest
The most southern.
Southern tip. The most southern tip of Africa.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's basically where the two oceans meet, the Indian and the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. So it was raining, it was cold, and me, the complete lunatic, jumped out of my car and I ran to the wall, which is the exact spot where the two oceans meet.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there's like a sign that says.
Yeah. The most southern tip of Africa. It's where the two oceans meet. I'm not too sure what oceans they are, but it's raining. So I'm gonna run to where it is quickly and show you guys. Little bit over there. Here we are. So it's, as you can see, like I told you before, it's the Indian, the Atlantic Ocean that meet over there. And little red brought us here. How awesome has this journey been? So far it's been something like, I think it's 700 kilometers. I'll do my best to try and put it on a map, try and show you how far we've come, where all we've visited. But this has just been such an incredible experience. I didn't think we'd make it this far, and to be honest with you, recently we have been having some issues with the car, but man, she has been utterly reliable. I am so impressed. Love the sound of them.
Sometimes a man will keep himself in shame. Mask a painful past he overcame. Oh yes. Oh. Well, you've been steady, building steam like a thunderhead. Armed and ready with the lies you overheard.
Seawater adventure. That was awesome. Anything with a shot, right?
Deliver me the fate I must deserve. Oh, don't you? I just wait and listen for the storm. You can hear the difference in the wind. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane comes in. When the dark clouds form and start to turn, I'll run again. Far away when the hurricane, oh, that old hurricane comes.
So 5 days, a flying Peugeot, hugging elephants, luggage drama, 20 liters of fuel at a time, and the mountains that reminded us why we need to be doing life. And we wouldn't be doing any of this without Continental Tyres.
It's true.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So where will our Continental Tyres take us next? What adventure would we be on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Good question. The sky is the limit.
So we're wondering where will our Continental Tyres take?
Exactly. Where will they take us? I'm excited for our next adventure.
So please do the things like follow, like, subscribe, share. We love you all. See you next time. Peace.
Ah.